Hi, my name is Stu Cox. I work for ZFX Flying Effects, and I'm a flying director. And we provide performer flying effects for shows like Peter Pan, Wizard of Oz, or in this case, Tarzan. And what we do, we actually work with the theater to develop special effects for their performers. We will start out with discussing artistically what they want to have happen on stage. Then we'll take a look at the theater. We'll get dimensions, type of rigging options we have, and we'll then pick out gear, actually send and ship the gear up here to the theater. And then when I first arrive, I'll work with the theater's technical stage crew, and we will install the gear, get it all rigged, go through the safety checks, and once we have it installed, then we can start actually kind of working into the choreography and the flying. And one of the things that we'll start with first is harnessing our performers. In this show, we're using two different types of harnesses. We have what we call a single point harness. That's where you have a connection point for the performer right between the shoulder blades. Very similar to like what we use in a Peter Pan show. And then we also have what we've developed specifically for these shows called a Tarzan harness. It's closer to like a climbing or rappelling harness, where the performer is going to it's around the waist, and it has an attachment point kind of here right at the front of the waist. We use different types of harnesses depending on the type of effects we're trying to do. And so different characters such as Tarzan and the apes, they'll be in those Tarzan harnesses, whereas then some of our other characters such as Jane or the leopard, we've got a couple flowers and a butterfly in the show as well, they will be in our single point harnesses. And once we have our actors in harnesses, then we can actually, we'll go through basics. We'll teach performers how to control their bodies in the air, how to create different body positions, different styles of flying. You don't want your apes to look like butterflies and vice versa. At the same time, we'll work with our operating crew, the ones that are off stage, and we'll be teaching them how to manipulate the ropes, either to provide our lift, our up and down axis, or our travel, which is our side to side. We can combine those to move our performers around in space above the stage how we want to. We always start out slow, we start out low, kind of get everyone through the basics, get them up to speed, and at that point, we can then start actually getting the choreographer and the director's visions into the space up on stage. And that then is a process that involves just kind of stepping through, putting what we call spikes, marks on the stage, marks on the rope, so that we know where we're going to lift the performer, how high, how much travel we're going to do back and forth. And then once we've got the basic pathways worked out, then we start taking a look at how does that go with the music, how fast do we need to move, are there points that we need to stop. Really kind of get into more of the artistic end of it. Lastly, once we've got, kind of the path and the time that it's going to happen, we go back to the actors and we have them start working on bringing their character back out. Obviously Tarzan's got to look a lot different from, say, one of the apes that he's been living with. We also have to have the other characters, like the leopard, has to have a very feline look to things, and that sort of thing. And so it's getting the actors to a point where they're comfortable with the flying effects, to where they don't have to think about those, and they can go back to expressing themselves in the air in the same way they would when they're walking around on stage.